campaign avoiding what many in the party always saw as his most potent weapon, an all-out attack on Dr. Hewson's GST. Instead, the Prime Minister unveiled a series of weighty and worthy policy initiatives. Asia-Pacific trading blocs, investment programs for business, special recognition of the role of women.
Like many others, I was recently shocked to read that a judge during a sexual assault trial had explicitly condoned the use of violence by a man against his wife. It is intolerable that women should continue to suffer prejudice or injustice of this kind in our courts.
That won wide applause, but national opinion polls showed the government way behind in the race for the lodge. Outwardly untroubled, Mr. Keating, usually accompanied by his wife, stuck to his strategy, visiting childcare centres in Queensland, business success stories in Sydney, talking compassion for families and boosts for business. When unemployment passed the million mark, the Liberals fired their first television commercials.
Even more are looking down the barrel of unemployment.
That brought the first return shots.
Violent, negative advertising. People being lined up in gun sites to be blown away.
But Labor still trailed. Even the first great debate with the white worm perception meter left the man who dominates in Parliament behind his opponent.
We're starting to see employment coming now, and we'll start to see it all the way up.
With some commentators already predicting a March 13 coalition victory, Mr. Keating used a visit to a Melbourne car plant to finally get into high gear. He literally threw away a carefully prepared speech about tariffs and ripped into the GST.
And finally, when you get home and call it a day and pull on the jammies, 15% on them too. Why in God's name do we need this monster of a tax?
From then on, it was a different campaign. Paul Keating's statesman was Paul Keating, street fighter. While Mrs. Keating was getting all sorts of publicity by modelling for Vogue, the government hit the GST as hard as it could.
Clothing and footwear, up.
This is scary. You know why it is? Because they're scary facts. They're scary facts.
Going for broke, Mr. Keating challenged Dr. Hewson to a debate on Nine's A Current Affair.
I was a Treasurer and Prime Minister.
8% increase in pensions.
Look, John,
you're going to add
5% to inflation.
Still, the campaign against the GST was biting, and it was to get a big kick along with the sudden resignation of Canada's Prime Minister Brian Mulroney, just 2 years after he imposed a hugely unpopular GST. Mr. Keating got the news in Bendigo and pounced.
We've been warned, and we've been warned in due time. We can say no to this absurd tax which Australia does not need.
Polls started to move back to the ALP. With a fortnight to go, Mr. Keating saw himself as the road runner, well ahead of the coyote.
Meep, meep. You know.
By early March, the polls and the worm had turned. The last debate saw a handsome win for the Prime Minister.
Extraordinary campaign. We'll take a break.
Dr. Hewson to present himself here, but to date he's resisting that. He's still said to be up on the 30th floor. He must come down the elevator, walk along here and go into the building next door. It seems to be a cat and mouse game between him and Mr. Keating. I mean, a norm in this sort of circumstance would be for the loser to concede and then for the winner to come out and graciously claim. But the suspense here got too much for one lady not so long ago, when from the second floor balcony up here, when some of the bad figures were coming in, she attempted to throw herself over, but she was escorted from the building. I don't think it's going to come to that with Dr. Hewson.
But that wasn't enough. Their task was to present the coalition leader as a regular bloke, someone voters could feel comfortable with. So stunt after stunt followed. We saw John Hewson, the lifesaver, symbolically rescuing the nation. And for 15 minutes, he became a McDonald's counterboy, dealing with a demanding customer.
Would you like that?
I'd like a large fries on the doubles.
Large fries.
The Liberal leader put on funny hats, hot dog caps, firemen's helmets and others until even he realised enough was enough.
Another hat. I'll live to regret this one.
But the jokes and stunts weren't enough to stem the tide of angry opposition to his program. With his wife Carolyn a constant companion, Dr. Hewson ran the gauntlet of countless angry protests. The first tomatoes flying in Hobart's Salamanca Place.
No GST! You're not every GST! Thank you for your It was good of you to turn out in such numbers. I'm very encouraged. Very encouraged.
But the Hewsons refused to withdraw from their daily street walks, confronting a mixture of confusion and anger about the goods and services tax.
Get stuffed, Tories! Get stuffed, Tories!
Defence of the GST was Dr Hewson's constant theme. Only rarely did he fix public attention on his attack on the government's employment record.
I personally refuse to accept that unemployment must stay high. I personally refuse to accept anything less than full employment.
Labor's record was hammered in the Coalition's TV commercials.
10 years with Labor. Our living standards have dropped. The recession we had to have has left over 1 million unemployed.
The Coalition promised 2 million jobs by the end of the decade, the pledge branded unattainable by many economists. In the second last week, those doubts and occasional stumbles on the details of the GST's operation put Dr Hewson on the back foot, and he didn't recover until that remarkable public meeting in Melbourne. His performance with hecklers compared favourably with that of Menzies.
Well, stick around, son. You could be next one on the dole queue.
Dr Hewson was on a roll. His last week, a frenetic round of capital city rallies, each one bigger or noisier than the last. Just before the final debate, the opposition leader suffered flu and the near loss of his voice, compounded by a nighttime charity soccer match. But he recovered, and his hand and eye coordination proved remarkable. That spectacular catch of a protester's egg, seeming to all who saw it a sign that luck was with the 46-year-old Coalition leader.
And I get the catch in the series.
John Hewson says the intent of his campaign strategy has been to get his message direct to the people at those street walks, rallies and public meetings. But the effect has also been to limit the opportunities reporters have had to put him and his policies under close scrutiny. After just 3 formal media conferences in the past 5 weeks, some doubt remains about how clearly the Coalition program has been explained. Only the voters know, though, if the Liberals' slick campaign to recreate John Hewson's image has also informed them about what the Coalition has in store.
Worth mentioning, and that is that the Democrats, mirroring their performance in the reps, have done pretty poorly in the Senate. You go around Australia and New South Wales, where they've got a sitting senator in Karen Suwata, they're only polling
down, and the Prime Minister has something to say. I'll leave it all to him. Here he goes. I'm sure you can hear this. This noise is quite amazing. These people have been waiting for 4 or 5 hours for this. They are giving the man a rapturous drum roar of applause. And he came on, as he once promised, in the most vaudevillian fashion imaginable. Centre stage went up, and there was Paul Keating, and here he is right now.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Well, this is the sweetest victory of all. This is a victory for the true believers. The people who, in difficult times, have kept the faith. And for the Australian people, through hard times, it makes their act of faith all that much greater. It'll be a long time before an opposition party tries to divide this country again.